Well, welcome to a special episode of the Field of 68. Rob Dauster, Jeff Goodman here, and we are reacting to the news that Juwan Howard has been fired. He's parted ways. He is no longer going to be the head coach at the University of Michigan. This is not something that was entirely surprising based off the way that tenure has gone, Jeff. But what do you know about Ward Manuel's decision to part ways with Juwan Howard and where they go from here?
Yeah, I just talked to a source, kind of within the Michigan program there, and it was just built up. Obviously you had Juwan's health issues, but that's not why this was done. This was done because the last 2 years have been a disaster on and off the court, right? Obviously, the product on the court, last year you have 2 first-round picks and Hunter Dickinson. You don't get to the tournament. This year, I don't know if they're the worst team in the Big Ten, but they're right there among the worst teams in the Big Ten. They've been absolutely abysmal. You've had several issues over the years with Juwan, altercations with coaches. This year, you had the altercation with the strength coach, John Sanderson, which I reported about. So it's been built up. And obviously, this was a touch you want to try to figure out if you're Michigan AD Ward Manuel. But I think Juwan was almost ready and resigned to the fact that this was going to happen as well because, ultimately – he saw where this was going. He's dealt with some health issues. And I think both sides kind of came to the conclusion that this is probably the best for the program. Ultimately, you're watching where this program is going. And again, Juwan, the one thing I'll say about Juwan compared to a lot of these other NBA guys from talking to people close to him, he wasn't lazy like some of them are. He wasn't lazy. He wanted to recruit. He got out there. He worked with kids on the court in their development. This thing, again, it just took a nosedive. He had a lot of success early, but some of that can be attributed to the culture left behind by John Beilein and some of his players.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to diminish what he did as a coach, but I do think that when you combine the health issues with the stress that comes with being a college basketball coach, it kind of felt like his heart maybe wasn't in it. I don't want to, that might be a little bit too strong, but I do just want to point out that one of the things that was in the statement released by Ward Manuel was, quote, "I have decided that Juwan will not return as our men's basketball coach." This wasn't as simple as like Juwan saying, I'm going to step down. So this is a really good job for the right person in the right hands. They have all.
Is it though? Is it a really good job, Rob?
Okay. It's better. Maybe. I mean, we're the top 25 job in college basketball. No, is that?
Well, there's a couple things that coaches are going to be concerned about, and have already texted me. Multiple candidates have hit me up with, it depends. What are the academic routes to get transfers in? We've seen what's happened with Terrence Shannon and Caleb Love not being able to get in. That scares away these guys. Then the next thing is obviously the NIL wasn't great for Juwan. Now, if they care about basketball, which they seem to, obviously not at the level of football, but they've got enough money here to be able to buy out Juwan. The question is, do you have enough money to go after somebody that's already got a pretty good buyout? Are you going to make a run for Nate Oates, who's got a $10 million buyout? He's a high school coach in Michigan. In some ways, I think he fits it. In other ways, I actually don't think he's a great fit for Michigan.
That was going to be my big question with Nate. But like, if you are the Michigan head coach, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. I am sitting outside of Schaefer's Bar in the middle of downtown Manhattan, so there's a lot of stuff going on around me. It's not as nice and quiet and peaceful as Goodman enjoying himself a nice little barbecue spot. But my question with Nate Oates was, I feel like the way that he wants to run a program when it comes to getting transfers, when it comes to getting the level of talent that he gets.
Doesn't fit. Right. No, the proximity is the fit, right? Just the fact that he's a Midwest guy fits, but he's got a better job right now at Alabama. And again, if you're Michigan, are you paying $10 million to buy out Nate Oates anyway? I would say probably not. I don't think he's, I think you're going to see, again, you could see like a Jerome Tang at Kansas State. I think Nico Medved, Colorado State is a name that comes to mind. Obviously, the hot names in the Missouri Valley, Darren DeVries, Josh Schertz should be in the equation there regionally. again, we go through this with every job opening right now that appears to be a great job, but who are you getting? I mean, again, you're not taking Chris Beard to Michigan. Sean Miller's probably not going from Xavier to Michigan. You're not hiring Will Wade at Michigan. You're not paying the buyouts of Mick Cronin or Nate Oates or TJ Otzelberger. They're too big. Guys like Izzo, Self, Shire, Hubert Davis isn't going anywhere. Honestly, the list of candidates, when you get down to it, isn't that impressive. Like, could Chris Mack get in the mix at Michigan? Maybe. I mean, his resume, again, I say it, and people probably think I'm crazy here, but if you look at it in its totality, it's more impressive than most of the guys you're going to look at. And again, he fits Michigan in a lot of ways.
Yeah. All right. So I know that it's early, right? And I know that this one is a little bit it's easy to put out a list for Louisville because we've been thinking about it for 2 months, right? It's relatively easy to put out a list for like a Vanderbilt or a Stanford because those ones are ones that we kind of knew were coming a little bit, right? This Michigan one was a little bit more up in the air, a little bit more 50-50. Give me who you would get and give me who you think is going to get in the mix at this point. I know that's a hard question to answer right now.
Again, I would say Tang, Medved, Schertz, DeVries, Kyle Smith, guys like that, I think will end up being in the mix.
All right. So let me follow that up with this. We've seen Kyle Smith have success at programs like Columbia and San Francisco, where it might be a little bit more difficult to get transfers in. We've seen him have a lot of success at Washington State, where it's not necessarily the easiest school to recruit to. They lost a bunch of guys because of a complete lack of NIL and a lack of a conference that they exist in. Why wouldn't he be higher on the list?
I mean, he'll be on the list. I don't know if he'll be higher. This is the first NCAA tournament he's ever been in. So I wouldn't have him like way up there. I mean, in the shitty Pac-12 this year. He's done a good job. Don't get me wrong. I also don't know if he's got the, again, at Michigan. Now, Beeline was able to do it. Kyle actually isn't that far off from Beeline in kind of the personalities. They're low-key. Yes. So, Beeline was able to do it, and I didn't think Beeline was going to be a great hire at Michigan when they hired him because I just didn't think he could recruit Detroit. But he didn't recruit Detroit, really. He obviously got his type of guys in there and was able to win at a high level while doing that. I don't know. I don't know if Kyle Smith has the same type of personality to be able to pull it off these days at Michigan. But again, I don't think they're going to you're not getting one of the big boys to come over to Michigan right now. You're just not. I don't, again, you can get a good coach, but you're not luring somebody huge at this point to Michigan with some of the issues that plague that program right now.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, Jeff, it's starting to get really loud over here. I know that you are hungry. I can tell you're getting hungry.
I'm starving.
You look pretty grumpy.
No, I want to go in. Yeah, I mean, all right. This spot we're gonna have supposedly is really good. It's
we're gonna have a lot more on this.
The peanut
coming later tonight.
The peanut.
Hey, look, go do your job. Go do some reporting, Jeff. Go figure it out. Give me some names so you're not sitting here guessing. All right, and we'll talk to you later tonight on After Dark. About 11:30 Eastern time. We're going to start. See you guys later tonight.
All right, sounds good.
In the field of 68 for Rob Dauster, Jeff Goodman.